Good morning, everyone. Today is Monday, May 4th. Today I'm going to show you again how to solve for area and perimeter for complex shapes. Today's lesson is very similar to Friday's lesson. The big difference is, as you can tell, there's no squares or grids inside the shapes where you could just count the grids to figure out the area. So what you notice first is I have a complex shape, and I have most of the sides labeled, but not all of them. As you can tell, I have an X here. So if you think about how we started our lesson on Friday, we had to number or count all of the sides. In this case, I have all of the sides for you except for one. So the first part that we need to do is actually figure out the missing number. And the way that you want to figure this out is you're actually going to have to use an addition or subtraction problem to help you figure it out. And what I want you to notice is we're trying to find X, which is this line that comes straight down. And what you're going to use to help you is the opposite side. And this line from top to bottom, I know is 10 centimeters. That's important right there. Now, you're going to say, well, how do I figure out this side when I'm missing a section of it right here? And that's the question that we have to figure out. What is this section right here? Because once we figure this section out, it'll help us to figure out this section. Well, I want you to imagine this side over here. If I would take this side and I would slide it the whole way over here, that would be the rest of the side. So I'm going to put a little dotted line just to show that. And if I know this side is 3, I know the opposite side would also have to be 3 centimeters. Well, now I can figure out what X is. If I know the total is 10, so I'm going to put an equation over here. So if I know the total is 10 centimeters, and I already know part of it is 3, I'm trying to figure out 3 plus what equals 10. Or you can do a related fact and turn it into a subtraction problem. Well, I know that 3 plus 7 equals 10, so therefore I know that X has to be 7 centimeters. So I'm going to take this X and I'm going to put 7 centimeters. So that's the first step in the problem. You actually have to be able to label and figure out all of the sides. Now that I know all of the sides, I can easily figure out the perimeter. And remember that perimeter is just adding up all of the sides. If it's a square or a rectangle, it's just 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. But when you have a complex shape or a regular shape, in order to find the perimeter, you just have to add up all of the sides. So now I'm going to do perimeter equals, and I'm going to take all of the sides. So I'm going to start up here with my P. I'm going to organize my data. I'm going to use my 10. So I'll put my 10 here. I'm going to go down here actually, and I'm going to use the 8 and the 2 because I know 8 plus 2 is 10. So I have the top, I have the side, I have the bottom. I have this side over here is 3, so I'll put him here. I have this side here, which is 6. And last, I have this side here that we just solved for, which is 7. And then I'm going to add all of those up. And I can quickly see here, I have a 3 and a 7. If I put 3 and 7 together, I get a 10. So I'm going to get rid of those. So now I have 10 plus 10 plus 10, which is 30. And then 6 more, which is 36 centimeters. So my perimeter is 36 centimeters. Now we actually have to go back and figure out the area. And if you remember from Friday's lesson, in order to figure out area, we want to create rectangles and we want to create squares. And I can see on this picture here that if I use this line that I kind of drew already, that red line, I'm going to create 2 rectangles. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to kind of highlight the inside so you can see it. I'm going to have a blue rectangle, which goes right here. And then I'm going to have a red rectangle, which goes right here. And now I'm just going to figure out the area of both of those rectangles, and then I can actually add them together. So this rectangle over here, I already have all of the dimensions. I know that the top is 2, and this part of the bottom here would also be 2. I know that the whole side is 10, and I know this whole side we'd have to equal 10. So I'm actually going to take these numbers here, 2 times 10, and I'm going to multiply them together, because when you're figuring out area, length times width will give you the area of a two-dimensional shape. So 2 times 10 is 20. So I know my area for blue is going to be 20 centimeters squared. Now, I have to figure out my red area. And you have to be really careful here. A lot of kiddos want to circle the 3 and the 8 and multiply them together. And it looks right, but it's not. And here's why. This whole side at the bottom, the whole line going the whole way across, is 8 centimeters. We're not taking the whole line, though. If you remember, we're stopping right here. So I can't use the 8. I'm actually going to use the 6, the line on top, because it's letting me know from this point here to this point here is 6 centimeters. And that's the exact size that I need. So I'm going to take the 6 times the 3 to figure out the area of this square. I know 6 times 3 is 18 centimeters squared. Now I have the area of my blue rectangle, the area of my red rectangle, and I can just add those together. And I know that 20 plus 18 is 38 centimeters. And because it's area, we have to say square centimeters. So 38 centimeters squared. All right, guys. I'm going to have you come back for one more video and show you one more problem today, and then I'm going to have you finish the last 4 on your own. Good luck, guys.